That we invest in the middle class and in people working hard to join it. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you.
People are crossing arrows or suffering from mercury poisoning. You did it. You're addressing this crisis.
Thank you for being here. Thank you very much for your donation tonight. I really appreciate the donation to the Liberal Party of Canada. Filled with different perspectives and different opinions, and we respect them all, and our commitment to reconciliation continues to be strong and committed, and we will continue to engage. Thank you, sir, for your donation to the Liberal Party of Canada. I really appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you for being here. That is why we are moving forward on reconciliation in a real and tangible way. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for highlighting how important reconciliation is.
I'm about to bust. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was the bathroom. Oh, good Lord.
Mr. Speaker, again, she's saying things that just aren't true. We know they tried to interfere with an independent legal officer. They tried to get the former Attorney General to change her mind. She said no. She said no on multiple occasions. In her view and the view of the independent Crown prosecutor, SNC Lavelin, based on serious corruption and bribery charges, did not qualify for one of these deals the way the Liberals themselves wrote it. Now they're trying to hide behind crocodile tears that nobody is believing. Now here's a very specific question for the House Leader. Did anyone in the Liberal government communicate to SNC Lavelin?
Speaker, let's look at the record. Look at the record. Look at the record. The Director of Public Prosecution Service confirmed that prosecutors in every case, quote, exercise their discretion independently and free from any political or partisan consideration, unquote. Mr. Speaker, we on this side have increased resources to committees so that committees can do their work. Members from both sides sit on the Justice Committee. Justice Committee members have come together to ask for witnesses to appear. Witnesses are appearing. Mr. Speaker, I will remind this House and all Canadians what Canadians said no to. Canadians said no to the failed approach of austerity for the Conservatives that leader continues to fight for. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I feel like the Honourable House Leader is being paid by the word today, Mr. Speaker. What I would say, though, is this. I have very few words on this matter. What I'd like to know, Mr. Speaker, is this. I'm sorry, I can't.
Order. I would ask members to come to order, and I would encourage members to try to avoid things that provoke disorder in the House. And comments that are insulting, do that. Order. I would say it to both sides. Order. Are we going to carry on? Order. I would say it to both sides. Order. Order. Are we going to carry on? The honourable member for Milton.
I can't blame her, Mr. Speaker. I wouldn't want to answer my questions either. I'd like to know that between September 4th and October 10th, did the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister's office, any cabinet minister, any lobbyist, anyone associated with the Prime Minister's office indicate to SNC Lavelin or give assurances that they would be able to get a deferred public?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, Justice Official Backgrounder on Remediation Agreement states two of the main purposes for remediation agreements. 1, hold the organization accountable for the wrongdoing. 2, reduce harm that a criminal conviction of an organization could have for employees, pensioners, stakeholders, and other third parties who did not take part in the offense. Mr. Speaker, the record shows that the leader of the Conservative Party met with the NDP, met with the company. We know that deputy leader herself said on the record, at Justice Committee. There's nothing wrong with meeting the company. We on this side will focus on Canadians, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Milton.
Mr. Speaker, somebody's going to have to answer this question because on September 4th, the Director of Public Prosecutions actually
informed SNC Lavelin that they would not be receiving a deferred public prosecution agreement. However, in the audited financial statements of SNC Lavelin, they indicate that the company was advised by the director of the PPC in October 2018 that it would not be invited by the PPSC.
Who in the Prime Minister's office gave the assurance between September 4th and October 10 that there would not be a problem with the PPSA?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Again, Mr. Speaker, let's look at the record. Look at the record. Look at the record. The Director of the Public Prosecution Service confirmed that prosecutors in every case, quote, exercise their discretion independently and free from any political or partisan consideration. Last week, the Deputy Minister of Justice confirmed that, quote,
And
no one cares!
The Prime Minister can try to hide behind talking points and other members of his Liberal team, but this is about the independence of our judicial system. This is about the rule of law. Now, the Prime Minister has stated that there were many discussions going on, which is why the former Attorney General, and I quote, asked me if I was directing her or going to direct her to take a particular decision. And I, of course, said no. So the simple question is, if a decision had already been made on September 4th, why would she have to ask him if he was directing her?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
And Conservatives are calling into question the independence of our judicial system and the rule of law in this country. Allow me to reassure all Canadians watching by quoting directly from the Director of the Public Prosecution Service of Canada, who confirmed last week that in every case, prosecutors, quote, exercise their discretion independently and free from any political or partisan consideration.
The Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, again, why did the Prime Minister leave the impression with the Attorney General that there was something going on? He said, and I quote, the former Attorney General asked me if I was directing her or going to direct her to take a particular decision. And I, of course, said no. So the question remains, why did the former Attorney General think that she needed to ask that? If the decision was already made, why would she have to go and get clarification if he wasn't in fact attempting to interfere?
Yeah.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, all Canadians who've been watching this government over the past 3.5 years know full well that we will always stand up for good jobs, we will always stand up for Canadians, and we will always do so in a way that respects and upholds our institutions, including the independence of our judiciary and the rule of law. These are principles that are at the core of what this government does. It was principles at the core of why Canadians elected us in 2015.
Butts met with the Attorney General at a hotel in downtown Ottawa. It's clear that the SNC Lavelin case was discussed. Who asked for that meeting?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, every step of the way, we will stand up for good jobs for Canadians. We will stand up for the independence of our judiciary.
Mr. Speaker, people who are innocent usually don't have trouble answering simple questions, especially when they're yes and no. Gerald Butts claims to be innocent, but innocent people don't tend to resign from their jobs. Did the Prime Minister ask Mr. Butts to resign, yes or no?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Gerald Butts' statement speaks for itself. Mr. Speaker, he made this decision because he felt it was important for the government to move forward. Mr. Speaker, his dedication to this country, to this government, to the work that we are doing to give a real and fair chance for everyone to succeed continues, and I thank him deeply for his service to Canada.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Move forward from what, Mr. Speaker? The Prime Minister is saying that nothing happened. All along, he's saying that nothing improper was done. All along, he's saying that he didn't do anything wrong and people in his office didn't do anything wrong. And yet we have the facts that the former Attorney General was removed from her post. She then resigned from Cabinet. The Principal Secretary has now resigned. So what exactly was Mr. Butts moving on from if nothing improper happened.
Exactly.
Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, this government continues to focus on the things that matter to Canadians, like delivering a Canada Child benefit that helps 9 out of 10 Canadian families. Moving forward, the way we lowered taxes on the middle class and raised them on the wealthiest 1%. We continue to focus on the upcoming budget, which is going to continue to deliver for Canadians in real ways as we grow the economy in ways that work for the middle class. Unfortunately, under 10 years of Stephen Harper, the benefits to the wealthiest and the well-connected did not grow the economy.